Hi my lovely people, welcome to another fabulous fragrance video. In this video, I'm going to share with you 10 beautiful tuberose dominant fragrances. Now when I say tuberose fragrances, I don't just mean fragrances that have the note tuberose. I mean fragrances that are very dominant in tuberose. You can smell the tuberose. It's one of the main accords or the main accord. I don't just pick any fragrance that has tuberose, you guys. This is one of my note series videos, you guys. I have done so many videos focused on one note, fragrances that have that particular note dominant. I've done jasmine, it's right before this. I will link it up here and down in the description box. I've done musk, I've done amber, I've done vanilla, I've done cherry. I have done a lot of them. I can't remember all of them. I've done so many. Make sure to go to my channel homepage and you will see all the videos I have done. And if you want to see, if you're interested in a particular fragrance note and you want a fragrance, with that particular note, that's dominant, then you can find a video on my channel. So in this video, we're going to talk about tuberose and fragrances that are dominant in tuberose. I'm going to share with you 10 tuberose dominant fragrances. So if you want to find out what they are and my thoughts on them, continue to watch. Tuberose is an exotic, narcotic, carnal, white floral with a drug effect, you guys. Tuberose was particularly considered an erotic flower centuries ago, to the point during the Renaissance, young women were not allowed to walk through an erotically fragrant tuberose field after dusk. Yeah, they considered it a naughty flower. Tuberose grows in different parts of the world, Comoros, Tunisia, Morocco, Spain, even in France, in Grasse, France, tuberose grows, and also in India, I believe. So yeah, it comes from different parts of the world. It grows in different parts of the world, different species, I would assume. And actually, it also grows in Mexico, and ancient Aztecs used to use tuberose to scent. You put scent into the chocolates that they made. So they must have added that sort of bubblegummy scent from tuberose into their chocolates. That's right. Tuberose, even the natural version, has this slightly bubblegummy aspect to it. A little bit sweet, a little bit bubblegummy. Especially the synthetic tuberose smell very bubblegummy. The natural, not as much. I will give you some examples of each type when I share the fragrances with you. I have both natural and synthetic tuberose fragrances here that I'm about to share with you, but mainly natural. King Louis XIV, who was famously known for his luxurious, extravagant lifestyle, used tuberose to scent his palace, his hallways and corridors and stuff like that, like his palace with tuberose. So he must have really loved that scent. So tuberose is a fairly expensive fragrance oil, the natural high quality tuberose. So a lot of the times, perfumers use the, synthetically created tuberose, and they have to kind of mix a bunch of notes to get that tuberose scent, less expensive notes. So yeah, tuberose, the 100% natural original tuberose, that can be an expensive ingredient in perfumery. So now that we have learned a little bit about the note of tuberose, let's jump into these beautiful 10 tuberose dominant scents I have right here to share with you guys. Guys, I must say, in my note series, I always give you a lot of information about whatever that particular note that I'm focusing on in that video, because I want to give you some information instead of just giving you some fragrances that barely have, that note in it. If you watch my videos, if you watch my note series, you can be assured that they're going to be dominant in whatever that particular note that I'm talking about. I don't just randomly pick whatever scent that comes, you know, in my site that just have the note somewhere in the fragrance. These are very, very strongly tuberose scents. So you could be sure of that. So anyway, I'm going to start with one of the most tuberose dominant fragrances that I have ever smelled. So this one is from Giorgio Armani Privé line. You guessed it. This one is Rouge Malachite. So this one, you guys, is a very, very narcotic, hypnotic white floral that is very dominant in tuberose. It is tuberose that you smell the most in this fragrance. In fact, it's really difficult to detect any other fragrance notes in here. You detect a little bit of a kick from a spice in here, but that's about it. Really what you smell is a lot of tuberose. So you have to be a tuberose lover to love this fragrance. You guys, this fragrance has tuberose on all 3 layers, like from top to bottom. I mean, tuberose lasts throughout the life of this fragrance. It is there the entire time. There's tuberose in the opening with a little bit of pink pepper and clary sage. Pink pepper is that happy, bubbly, soft, spicy note. And then in the middle, you get tuberose with some other florals like ylang ylang, orange blossom, jasmine sambac. But those other white florals are super mute in this fragrance. You can barely smell them, barely smell them. Even ylang ylang, which tends to usually overpower other notes, is not overpowering in this one, because tuberose really, you know, pounded it back down. You know, tuberose is what you really smell in this fragrance. There's like some cashmere and you know, there's benzoin and amber. So benzoin's a resin note, amber's resin, so it's very resinous. Benzoin has a little bit of a vanilla feel. It's a resin note that smells a little bit like vanilla, to put it simple. I don't want to get into the, you know, weeds of it, but you know, the idea is it's basically a resin note with a bit of a vanilla nuance to it. And this again in the base has tuberose, like a massive dose of tuberose with that amber in the base. You get the idea. I mean, this one is a tuberose queen. It is all about tuberose, a little bit of amber, a little bit of that resin vibe, and maybe a little bit of a kick in the background that I can't quite put my finger on, you know? Yeah, this one is like one of the most tuberose dominant tuberose fragrances. It's tuberose through and through. And please don't pronounce the name of this fragrance Malachite, you guys. That is one of my huge pet peeves to hear. It just ruins the entire feel of the fragrance. So please try not to say it that way. This is Giorgio Armani Rouge Malachite. So next I have another tuberose queen. Even the name of the fragrance has tuberose in it. This one smells very much like tuberose with some lactonic, you know, nuances to it. It's very creamy. It's a very creamy fragrance. By the way, so is Rouge Malachite. I forgot to mention, it's a very creamy fragrance from that tuberose. This one is creamy for not just one reason, for a couple of reasons. So this one is none other than Amouage Love Tuberose. This one, you guys, is again a very creamy tuberose dominant fragrance. This one is really a bridal fragrance to me. I mean, it is white. The bottle even is white. This reminds me of a bride. It's a very beautiful, sensual, yet statement-making fragrance. You know what I mean? As you heard, tuberose can be very exotic. It could give this sort of sexy flair, you know, to the person wearing it. This one has gardenia and jasmine with tuberose in the opening, but guess what is in the middle? Yes, a massive amount of whipped cream with that creamy lactonic vibes that gives this fragrance another layer of creaminess. And of course that whipped cream is there along with a massive dose of vanilla. Vanilla is very prominent. It's very sweet from the vanilla. And I wouldn't say super sweet, but you can smell the vanilla with that creamy tuberose and that whipped cream lactonic scent. Sensual sandalwood and some other woody notes, perhaps cedar and other woody notes. Beautiful, creamy, tuberose dominant, very attractive fragrance. I would say is perfect for a bride. This one is Amouage Love Tuberose. So the third fragrance in my hands is a Tuberose Queen as well. It's the #1 accord in this fragrance. That's what you smell the most, that beautiful, creamy, slightly bubblegummy tuberose scent. It's definitely natural tuberose that's in here. I would say the same with Amouage Love Tuberose and Rouge Malachite. So this one is none other than Diptique Dosan. You guys, I have been wearing this fragrance non-stop this spring. Oh, it has this sexiness about it. It looks like this very innocent white floral, but it's not. There's something very, very alluring, very captivating and sexy about this fragrance, you know? It's that exotic, sort of erotic nature of tuberose that really comes through in this fragrance. It's a very attractive fragrance. It's a bit of a head turner. It's a compliment getter. This one is absolutely stunning. I love, love, love wearing this in the springtime in particular. You can wear this in summer as well. It's quite long lasting. By the way, the two fragrances I already talked about, very long lasting. You don't have to worry about their performance for sure. So there's like a huge amount of tuberose in here, you guys. I mean, that's the main thing you smell. And then you smell that little hint of pink pepper, you know, especially in the opening with that sort of happy, bubbly, soft spice vibe. There's some, you know, woody notes in here, but what you smell the most is that tuberose. And of course, don't forget that this got a huge dose of musk. So this fragrance really is about the tuberose and musk. And musk is a very kind of sexy, you know, animalic kind of note too. And so is tuberose, you know what I mean? So together they're very, very carnal and very exotic, very, very, very attractive fragrance, I would say. I really underestimated this. The bottle is very understated, right? So you just never really think that juice inside is going to blow you away. This one I underestimated. I am so happy I got my hands on it. This one I highly recommend. I highly recommend the other two as well that I talked about so far. This one is Diptique Dosan Eau de Parfum. Well, 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 look who I have in my hands. It is Heartless Helen. This one is very much a tuberose queen. Through and through tuberose. This one is all about the tuberose. I mean, the ones I talked so far, they're all about tuberose. This one has some, you know, a bit of a citrus note. I think mandarin orange in the opening. Huge amount of tuberose in here. Very much a lot of tuberose and some woody notes, you guys. I don't even smell any spices. Like, this is not at all spicy at all. This is very much a, you know, narcotic, hypnotic, indolic sort of tuberose scent. Yeah, very much a tuberose scent. The only problem I will say is that it doesn't last very long. I remember once reading a review by someone that said, Heartless Helen left me, you know, hanging, or Heartless Helen left me heartbroken, or something really funny about how it didn't last very long. Heartless Helen left me quickly, which I thought was really funny. Yeah, this one is not the most long-lasting fragrance. You have to respray it, but if you are a tuberose lover, you would love this. And by the way, did I mention this is Heartless Helen by Penhaligon's? Forgot to mention the house name. Yeah, Heartless Helen by Penhaligon's. Through and through tuberose. It's got that slight bit of bubblegumminess to it. Very much a tuberose scent. Well, I have a very summery Tuberose Queen in my hands that I use very sparingly because is she expensive? Oh, woo! That is exactly why you should get this if you want it on Fragrance Buy, because on Fragrance Buy, you guys, you can get this fragrance for like half the price. This one is like $700+. I forget the exact amount. It's super expensive. It is none other than Tiziana Terenzi Atlantide. You guys, this one, as you can tell by the gorgeous, gorgeous bottle, this is from Tiziana Terenzi. This one has that bit of that synthetic vibe. You know how Tiziana Terenzi fragrances have that bit of like, you know, bit of that synthetic vibes. This one, like I said, you guys, you know, $700+, so use it sparingly. I love to bring this one on beach vacations, beach outings, during summertime, any kind of like summer getaway. This is perfect for, especially if it involves the beach. Something about this is very like sunny, you know, like you just want to be out in the sun. I did a full review of this fragrance that was very colorful, very interesting. I put a lot of visual effects in that review. I'm very proud of it, actually. Check it out. I will link it up here and down in the description box. It was a very thorough review, and I don't know if you guys know this, but this fragrance comes immersed in water. Yeah, that's right, because this bottle is completely waterproof, so it's quite impressive. And I did the unboxing. I took it out and everything. I will put that up here. Yeah, it was quite the experience opening it. So this actually has a little bit of Calabrian bergamot, a little bit of passion fruit, I think narcissus as well. There's a bunch of fragrance notes, you guys. In my full review, I went through all of the fragrance notes. Tiziana Terenzi gets their, you know, fragrance ingredients from really, you know, very good places, high quality ingredients. So I gave all the the full spiel in my full review. Check it out. So I'm not going to spend too much time here. Like I said, tuberose dominant, sort of summertime kind of fragrance that reminds you of a wonderful summer getaway, summer vacation. This one is Tiziana Terenzi Atlantide. I will link Fragrance Buy information down in the description box. Check it out. So now I have a synthetic Tuberose Queen. This one is very bubblegummy because this one has that synthetic tuberose that's very kind of bubblegummy. This one is none other than Monserra Velvet Vanilla. This one is very tuberose dominant. It's right away, it's very tuberose, and it's very sweet because there's a lot of vanilla in here too. So it's like tuberose and vanilla. It's super sweet. It is also quite musky. It's a little bit fruity. Like in the opening, this has some juicy fruit notes like, you know, juicy blackcurrant. There's pear in here. There are some spices like, you know, pink pepper, a little hint of clove that adds a very nice touch to this fragrance. I think that spicy touch works really well in here, especially since it's not overwhelming or too strong. And this has other florals like jasmine, neroli, and rose, but it's the tuberose that really dominates this fragrance. It's very strong in tuberose. And then of course it's quite musky from the big dose of musk, and there's a massive amount of vanilla. That's why it's called velvet vanilla. And that tuberose sometimes can be very kind of velvety, so I can see why they're calling it velvet vanilla. It's a very kind of velvety fragrance note sometimes. Yeah, this one is Monserra Velvet Vanilla. This one is a beast, you guys. It'll last you forever, all day long, all day long. Projection is outstanding. Great sillage, but it is the sort of the synthetic tuberose. So next I have another beautiful pretty girl tuberose princess, I would call it. This one is very kind of youthful, very pretty girl vibes. You know, it's not like for mature women. It's very kind of, I don't know, innocent, pretty girl kind of thing, but there it's also that sexiness, you know, from the tuberose to this one I absolutely love from the day one that I got it. The juice is pink and it really kind of conveys the vibe of this fragrance. This one is Giorgio Armani, My Way. This is such a beautiful, slightly bubblegummy, gorgeous tuberose scent. It makes me feel like a super pretty girl, you know, like, you know, young girl, which I'm not anymore. I'm a woman, but it makes me feel like a girl, like a pretty girl. This also has, you know, a little bit of citrus, some orange blossom, some jasmine, you know, there are other white florals, but I gotta say, it's the tuberose that jumps out at you. Of course, it has this big amount of vanilla that makes it sweet and amazing. There's musk in this, adds that edge to it, and some woody notes. Yeah, this one is a beautiful, beautiful, pretty girl scent, perfect for the summertime. This one is Giorgio Armani, My Way. So I have a very high-end luxury designer fragrance in my hands that I absolutely love. This one is very narcotic, hypnotic, bewitching kind of white floral with a massive amount of tuberose. It's what you smell the most. This is none other than Christian Louboutin Lubi Kiss from the Lubi World collection. You guys know I love this fragrance. I mean, before I open it, let me show you this crown. Isn't that amazing? Oh my God, it's Day of the Dead skull with tuberose and other florals up on the skull. Oh yeah, I don't need to spray any of these. I can smell really well. It is that creamy sort of bubblegummy tuberose that come through the most, but this is less bubblegummy than like the, you know, synthetic. This is natural tuberose, you know. This has obviously other white florals like jasmine and I'm sure a little bit of, you know, orange blossom too. But what you smell the most is tuberose. Christian Louboutin doesn't reveal more than 3 fragrance notes, but I know this has more white florals than tuberose, but tuberose is what you smell the most right there, front and center. And this has a big amount of musk, very musky white floral and some woody notes. Yeah, this one is a beautiful, beautiful, very like bewitching, narcotic, hypnotic type of white floral. It lasts quite nice, I would say 6 to 8 hours, especially if you know, spray on clothes and your hair. It lasts a lot longer. This one is Christian Louboutin Lubi Kiss. I have in my hand a very interesting fragrance. This is a fragrance from the 90s. You guys know the perfumes back in those days. They're very complex. The compositions were very complex and they revealed all the fragrance notes too, you know. Maybe they held a few back, but they used to release pretty much most of the fragrance notes. So this is very complex. This is, you know, got some spice notes in it too, but it is tuberose that you smell the most. This one is, of course, Dior Poison. This one is, you know, from those days when fragrances were really like very intriguing and interesting. This is like a little bit fruity, sweet, white floral, little animalic. I mean, this has things like, you know, coriander, anise, those type of spice notes. And this has got like, you know, a juicy plum note, some berry notes too. By the way, it has opoponax. This has other white florals like, you know, jasmine, African orange flower. It also has other, you know, florals like carnation. There's heliotrope with a bit of a powderiness. There's like incense with that little bit of like smokiness. There's a bit of honey, I think, also somewhere. And there's some nice spicy notes like clove, cinnamon, coriander, like I said earlier, warm and soft spices. And this has a huge amount of, you know, vanilla, amber, musk, those and sandalwood, and other many other fragrance notes. I'm not gonna go through all of them. And I really want to find the extrait de parfum, which is also very tuberose dominant. So this is actually called Dior Poison. I'm not actually sure as to what the concentration is. Yeah, this one is very much a statement making, very spicy, balsamic, sweet, fruity, floral, very complex, kind of smoky too. Tuberose scent, it's probably the most interesting one out of everything I talked about today. This one is very complex, very interesting. Yeah, this one is Dior Poison. The next fragrance is one of my favorites from Givenchy. This is one of their latest releases. And well, at least this is the latest perfume I've bought from the house. This one is quite nice because it's a tuberose dominant fragrance, very tuberose dominant, but this also has a beautiful citrus kick, but not just any citrus. This has blood orange, you guys. Oh, I love blood orange. I absolutely love it. And that blood orange in the opening is with ginger, you know, ginger with that sort of like that zing, you know, it's hard to describe the ginger zing. But before I tell you the other notes, let me tell you what it is. This one is Givenchy L'Interdit Rouge. So you guys, this one, like I said, blood orange and ginger in the opening is a beautiful burst of like that gorgeous citrus. Like blood orange doesn't smell like any other citrus. There's something very almost sweet about it that's really gorgeous. I absolutely adore blood orange. So like I said, this has a huge amount of tuberose. There's a little bit of jasmine, but it's the tuberose you smell the most in this fragrance, you guys. And it has a bit of earthiness from a little bit of vetiver and patchouli. The patchouli is not offensive at all in this fragrance. In fact, it's barely there. And this has sandalwood as well, that creamy sensual sandalwood. Really love this fragrance. This is a good one for springtime, especially. You can wear it in the summer as well, but it's a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. It's a compliment getter. It's Givenchy L'Interdit Rouge. So you guys, those are the 10 beautiful tuberose dominant fragrances from my collection. I have other fragrances with a good tuberose note in it, but they're not tuberose dominant. Like I have Good Girl Gone Bad, I have Prada La Femme, Intense, you know, I mean, I can go on and on. I have lots of them that have the tuberose note in them, but these are the ones that are very tuberose dominant that I love from my collection. These are, if you guys love the note of tuberose, these are what I would recommend to you. I will say also, I used to have Tuberose New by Tom Ford. I did a full review of that fragrance. I will link it up here and down in the description box. I don't like it, you guys. I don't like it. So I can't really recommend that to you. It's a very kind of hairspray smelling tuberose scent. It is not creamy, it's not bubblegummy, it's quite in your face, it's kind of plasticky. It's hard to describe it. Check out my full review of it. If you do love that kind of weird fragrance, you might love it. Some people like it, that weirdness of it. Most people don't like that fragrance, and I'm one of them. If you want to see that, check that one out. I'll link it up here and down in the description box, or you can just go to my channel homepage, you guys. Anyway, these are the tuberose dominant fragrances that I actually really love and recommend. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So let me know what your favorite tuberose scents are. I love the note of tuberose. I am a huge white floral lover. You guys know this already. I love that, you know, Hypnotic, Narcotic, Bewitching, white florals. They are quite sensual. Absolutely love that about white florals. And in the case of tuberose, they can be a little bit naughty, a little bit exotic and erotic, you know what I mean? Let me know what your favorite tuberose scents are that I didn't, you know, share with you in this video. I would love to know what your favorites are. I hope you enjoyed this video, you guys. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That red button right there, click that and ring that notification bell. Click the notification bell next to it for all notifications, not just some, because if you click for some notifications, you're gonna miss a lot of the good ones, you guys, okay? So, by the way, check your notification status, because YouTube did some kind of weird update and some of you aren't getting notifications. So check that. Make sure you are set to get notifications from me. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, where I post everything and anything that I do and buy. And yeah, just don't miss out on that fun. I will see you guys in my next video.